Okay, Manasa, are you able to join again? Manasa, you are able to join again, right? Okay. She joined again. Let me share the screen. So yesterday we started discussing about the navigational aids. Actually, we have discussed about the various types of docks, wet docks, dry docks, what is the difference, and then what are the types of docks we have seen. And then we have started the discussion on navigational aids. I hope you are able to see the slide, right?
Sir.
Okay. So actually we have discussed this yesterday. What is the need for navigational aids? Because a ship is to be given certain guidance when it approaches a harbor, right from the demarcation of approach channel. When it enters into a harbor, it should be directed towards the berth, either in the dock or maybe in a jetty or in a pier. So it has to be directed properly. And then I also told yesterday that the ship must be given a warning when it is approaching a certain dangerous zone where there is not adequate depth, or let us say there is some rock formation below the seabed. So the ships are not expected to go there. You want to warn the ships. So we guide the ships through these navigational aids. And especially these navigational aids are needed during night times and during bad weather conditions when the visibility gets affected. That is what we have discussed yesterday. And then we have discussed that generally, because the direction, the guidance is required in the night time, we provide the guidance in the form of lights. Lights are of two types, general lights and then local lights. General lights are those lights which are supposed to serve not only the ships which are within the harbor, but the ships which are in the ocean also. Whereas local lights, as the name itself implies, are the lights which have to serve the ships once they enter the harbor. Okay. So general lights we have discussed yesterday that lighthouses are the general lighting facilities. You will have a tall structure, tower, with a light at the top. The light may be flashing light, or the light may be a continuous beam of light. Okay. So it gives the location of the port or harbor to the ships which are in the sea. And then you can also have some kind of local lights, so to indicate what is the border of the approach channel, and then what is the way to a particular quay or particular dock. Or you can also have some sort of warning indicators, as I told you, so that the ship will not go to that places. Even inside the harbor also, you may have certain areas where the ships are not supposed to go because the depth may be less due to some rock outcrop which cannot be removed on the bed. Similarly, light ships, that means they are similar to lighthouses, but they are floating on a ship, and the ship is moored to some navigational aid which is known as a mooring buoy. Mooring means it will be in that place only. It is tied to a particular navigational aid. So that is called a light ship. That means it is on a tower uh, inside a ship with a light at the top, similar to a lighthouse. Local lights, as I told you, they indicate the facilities like beds, and then what is the approach channel, and then what are the boundaries of the breakwater. Almost the entire port is to be lighted in the night time so that the ships will know where which facility is there. Okay. So this is a general classification, general lights and local lights. And we can also have another classification like fixed type of navigational aids or floating type of navigational aids. For example, just now we have discussed two types of lighthouses. One is a tall structure which is built on the shore or on the shoal. Okay? So that is a fixed type. Whereas if you have a lighthouse which is a floating type, which is mounted on a ship which is floating on water, it is a floating type of navigational aid. So navigational aids can be fixed type or floating type. So fixed light stations, as already I told you, they are lighthouses. They are permanent buildings. Okay. Normally they are built on the shore, but they can also be built on the a piece of land which is close to the shore, which is called a shoal. And floating light stations, as I told you, when it is difficult to build a lighthouse, normally we provide a light vessel, a small ship like small ship or small boat, which is moored. Moored means which is tied to a particular mooring buoy. We will discuss about the mooring buoy. Mooring buoy is a navigational aid which helps the small ships to stay in their place. Indicators. As I told you, sometimes the ships are to be given warning not to approach certain areas in the harbor. So there we use what are called obstruction indicators. Then approach channel indicators. The approach channel must be delineated properly. The approach channel must be demarcated properly. What is the right end of the channel? What is the left end of the channel? So that the ship goes only in between those two demarcations. So the indicators what are used, they are known as approach channel indicators. Okay. Then harbor location indicator. Of course, it is very similar to a lighthouse or a coast approach indicator. Okay. Now, in the fixed navigational aids, we have lighthouses as we already discussed, and we can also have certain beacon lights on breakwaters and shores. You can also put some lights on the breakwaters. Of course, they are also fixed lights, right? And similarly, you can also put some lights on the wharves, on the jetties, or on the piers, or whatever facility. If it is fixed, then it is called a fixed navigational aid. If it is floating, it is called a floating navigational aid. That's all. Okay. Now, let us discuss more in detail about lighthouses. Lighthouses are tall towers built of masonry or reinforced concrete. And then a marine beacon light. Already we have discussed what is a beacon in case of airport engineering. Okay. In airport also a beacon will be continuously flashing, right? Here also a lighthouse will be there which has a beacon which may be a flashing type or it may emit a continuous beam of light. And the lighthouse will be very tall, consisting of many floors. And these floors can be used for services, for storing some of the materials. Okay, they can be meant for living rooms for the crew of the port also. Okay, and they can be used as maintenance rooms. So inside the lighthouse, there is a space. Okay, a staircase will be there to go to the top of the lighthouse, as well as there can be some rooms also at different floors. The rooms can be used for various purposes, as mentioned here. The lighthouse tower is generally erected at a suitable point on the shore to guide vessels to the port or harbor nearby. That is the main purpose. Sometimes they are built on shoals and other hazardous features. Already I told you this. Sometimes they are built on shoals. Shoals means some small pieces of land which are close to the shore, but they are in the sea. When you build a lighthouse on a shoal, what happens is when the waves are ferocious and when there is a storm, then even the waves may come and hit against the lighthouse. I will show some photographs. Already I have shown one photograph earlier, but I will show now also how the lighthouses built on shoals are subjected to um, tidal forces. Okay, so the tower should be strong enough to withstand heavy wave forces. That is another important thing. Okay. A thick bed of concrete is placed on the hard. That means the foundation of the lighthouse must be strong. Why? Because especially if it is built on a shoal, it should withstand the uh, impact of the tidal waves. When the waves come and hit against the lighthouse, there will be tremendous force on the lighthouse structure. So the lighthouse structure should be in a position to withstand this force. That's why it should have a very good foundation. Okay, it can be founded on piles or caissons, or if the bed soil is weak, you can go for a significant depth using piles, etc. It is a concrete blocks. They go to some depth into the land. This is a rock bed, so you don't need any piles driven onto the ground because it is a solid rock bed. And then above this there is a stone masonry, and then there is again say a structure which is built with concrete. Okay, on the outside painted bands of red and white colors will be seen, and then of course on the top you have this beacon. This is the beacon light here, and at the highest point you will have a lighting, and you will also have what is called a projected a rod, metal rod. Normally all the tall buildings will have this metal rod which is called lightning arrestor. If lightning strikes this building, first that strikes this rod, through this rod, whatever the lightning force strikes the rod, that will get earthed. Okay, that is the electrical part. Any tall building, you will find one metal rod at the top, which is called a lightning arrestor. Okay. So this is a typical lighthouse. Normally, lighthouse is expected to get painted outside with a band of red and white colors for easy identification. You see, this is a lighthouse. You see, this is painted with red and white, alternate red and white colors. Okay, it has a door. You can enter into this through this door. There may be a spiral staircase. So here there is a beacon light. At the top, you see this rod, which is called the lightning arrest. I hope all of you are able to see the picture. Right? Yeah, are you able to see the picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a typical lighthouse. As you can see, this lighthouse is built on the shore, on the coastal area. Okay. Then during night times, this lighthouse will emit a beam like this, so that the ships which are in the sea can identify where exactly the port is there. Okay. Now, beacon lights. I told that beacon lights can be fixed for breakwaters, or they can be fixed on a quay, or they can be fixed on a berth. Okay, anywhere they can be fixed. When we say beacon, it can be a fixed light or a flashing light. It is a light beam. Okay, it helps the navigation during night times. Okay. So, in fact, any easily identifiable natural or artificially constructed feature or object or tower may serve the purpose of guiding navigation and may be called a beacon. Okay. In this sense, lights come in handy for visibility during night time. So lights in any form, okay, located anywhere, they serve as guiding um, equipment for the navigation of the ship during the night time. So they are called beacons. And what should be the illuminating power? It depends on so many other factors. Normally, the illuminating power is measured in terms of what is called a candle power. Okay, all these things are explanations of this. So the beacon can be either a flashing beacon or it can be a fixed beacon light. Okay, normally flashing mechanisms are used and regulated to obtain any desired flashing characteristics. These mechanisms are operated by means of motor-driven circuit interrupter. This is all explanation for the equipment. The flashes may be set to occur at a single or multiple intervals and may be a combination of white and red colors. That means whenever the flashes are emitted, the flashes will be emitted from that particular source at certain frequency, at certain interval. So for every 2 minutes, it may give out a flash. The flashes may be alternative red and white. Once red flash and then after 2 minutes white flash, after 2 minutes red flash, like that the cycle goes on. Whereas fixed beacon lights may be used to indicate breakwaters and shores during night times. Generally, the fixed lights are used to indicate the breakwaters and the shores. Shores are nothing but the coastal line during night times. So these may also be fixed on piers or wharves. Again, I told you, any facility in the harbor may be lighted with the help of fixed lights. So when the light is not a flashing type, it is called a fixed beacon. So all these aids help in navigation of vessels to the desired location where the vessel has to go, whether it has to go to a turning basin or whether it has to go to a dry dock, it has to go to a wet dock, or whether it has to go to a particular say berthing platform. Normally, sometimes the approach channel may be very long. Once the ships enter into a harbor, the point where they berth or the quay or the pier may be sometimes even 3 to 4 kilometers from the entry point also. So people who are familiar with the Vizag airport, they will know. In the Vizag airport, once the ships enter the harbor, the channel goes continuously for 3 or 4 kilometers into the hinterland, into the land beyond that point. So the ship has to be guided properly. Okay. So for that we need these kinds of lights. Then let us see what are the floating navigational aids. Floating navigational aids, already we have discussed one, that is the floating light ship. Light ship is nothing but a small lighthouse which is mounted on a ship which floats on water. And we have what is called buoys. This is pronounced as buoys, B-U-Y-S. Buoys are nothing but the objects which are floating on water. They are called buoys. The B-O-Y-S. This word has come from the word buoyancy. What is buoyancy or buoyancy? Normally refer to the property when the materials float in water. So these buoys are nothing but the navigational aids which are floating in water and which are used for helping the ships to reach their destination properly. Okay, first let us discuss about the light ships. At a place where it is not practicable to build lighthouses, small ships with a displacement of about 500 tons are used to serve the purpose. Normally, when it is possible to build a lighthouse, we use this light ship. For that purpose, what we do, the light or lantern is fixed at a height of 9 to 12 meters above the water level on the ship, and its flashing mechanism is similar to those used at lighthouse. Again, it can be a flashing type, or again, it can be a continuous beam type, line. Okay. While the hull of a light ship is painted red, hull means the outer body of the ship. The outer body of the ship, which houses this lighthouse on it, is painted with red, and the name of the place white colored letters on both sides. On the ship, which is carrying this light in the form of a small tower, which is called a light ship, it will have red color painted on the outside, and with white paint we will write the name of the harbor or the coast on both sides. So this is mainly for a better visibility. Okay. Now let us see a picture. So here you see, this is I think all of you are able to see the photograph. This is a light ship, what you find here. Okay, can you see this photograph? Yeah, yes or no? Because I want to ensure that I am online. Okay, so now you see, this is a light mounted here on a structure, something like a tower, but it is on a ship. Okay, it is not a regular lighthouse. You see, this ship's body is painted with red color, and with the white paint we write the name of the port. You can see the white paint written. This name will be written on both sides of the ship. Okay, this is called the light ship. Sometimes you may also use some kind of light ships which are different from this. Actually, they themselves are floating. They are not mounted on any ship or something like that. They themselves are floating structures like this, and they will be tied to what is called a mooring buoy. We will be discussing about mooring buoys a little later. So you can also use these kinds of things very rarely. But this is also one type of floating light ship. Okay. Now, what are called buoys? These are floating structures. As I already told you, buoys are nothing but floating structures. They can be of different sizes, different shapes. They are used for demarcation at entrance for approach channel boundaries. In order to indicate the approach channel boundaries, we use the floating buoys. Okay? And similarly, you can use the buoys for indicating a hazardous area where the ship is not supposed to go. Okay. Similarly, the buoys can also be used to indicate what is the starboard hand and what is the port hand. Okay. Normally, when a ship is moving, the left side of the ship is known as the starboard side. The right side of ship. Right is normally known as a port. Left is normally known as a starboard. And the captains also, the ship's captains also, you might have seen in movies. They will be given instructions, turn the ship towards the starboard or turn the ship towards the port side, like that. So starboard indicates left side, and then port indicates the right side of a ship. So at the entrance channel also, you can use different colored lights for indicating the left edge of the approach channel and right edge of the approach channel. That also we will see. And then there can be different types of buoys. They can be of cylindrical shape, or they can be some sort of a trapezoidal shape, or they can be of different types. They can be something like a vertical tower type, right? So the sizes also can be different. Basically, the buoys are classified as three types. One is called mooring buoys. Already I used this term, mooring buoys. Mooring buoy is a buoy which helps small ships to moor at a place. Mooring, I told you many times, mooring and berthing are more or less same. Mooring is the vehicle is parked there. When the vehicle is parked there, that means here the vehicle means the ship or the vessel. When it is Parked there means what? It is stationed there on the waters. So it should be there only. It should not get carried away by the waves. That means it should be fixed to some object. If it is a very big ship, we have seen in the seas how the ships anchor in the seas. The anchor is dropped to the seabed and the anchor holds the seabed firmly so that the ship is in place. It will be standing there only. But whereas in case of small vessels which come to the harbor, they use what is called as mooring buoys for uh, positioning themselves at a particular point. Then we have wreck buoys. Wreck buoys are nothing but the warning indicators. They indicate to the ship that this is a dangerous area. Why we call it as a wreck buoys? Normally, whenever anybody knows what is a wreck? Where we use this term wreck? Nobody knows when you use the term wreck. It is a general used term. It is not a technical term.
Wrecking is like breaking, broken.
Have you ever? Please a little bit louder, ma. Please tell me.
So wrecking is like breaking. So like destroyed, wreck is broken.
Wrecking is like say your voice is very
wrecking,
low.
Wrecking means
Wrecking.
breaking, sir. Like destroying.
Breaking order. Okay. So actually, this particular word wreck is used in connection with ships only. As I rightly say, it indicates, so whenever a ship is subjected to an accident, let us say a ship collides with a rock, then it sinks into the sea. We call it as a shipwreck. Okay. You rightly told that it can be breakage of the entire ship and then collapse of the ship, sinking of the ship. We don't use this wreck generally with any other things, but in general terms we use say the wrecks of something, means the ruins of something. But the shipwreck is a normally used term. There is a very famous story by Rabindranath Tagore by name Shipwreck. Okay. You should also get some idea about the books. You should read other books also other than textbooks so that you will gain some knowledge about the world. So Rabindranath Tagore has written a very famous story by name Shipwreck. Shipwreck means the ship which has met with an accident. For example, all of you know about the Titanic. I think all of you might have seen the film Titanic.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
What happened to Titanic? What happened to Titanic? The Titanic got collided with an iceberg and then the ship is broken into half and then it sank into the sea. So that is called shipwreck. Suppose a shipwreck happens, normally other ships are not permitted to go into that area. They are restricted to enter into that area. That's why there we use the wreck buoys, which prohibit the entry of ships into that area. Okay. Then we can have buoys for special indications. Okay. Now these are the three types of buoys what we use. Then I will show you some diagrams. But before that, once again, let us try to understand what is mooring buoy. These buoys serve the purpose of moorings for ships inside the harbor basin. Already I told you. Hence the name mooring buoys. They help the ships to moor. Moor means get say berthed somewhere on the surface of the water. Then wreck buoys. Their special shape and size are used to locate wrecks. That means locate the places where the ships have undergone wreckage. Okay, so they are prohibited to enter that area. either in the harbor or maybe near to harbor. Okay. Or if there are something like I told you, if there are rock formation also, we don't permit the ships there. Okay, if there are something like underwater cables, normally underwater cables run throughout the earth. So, for example, how do our signals reach from, say, something India to America? There is a very big ocean in between, Atlantic Ocean. So, underground cables will be running, right, in the seas. So, especially if they are very close to the shore, and then the ships are not permitted to go near that areas because they may cause some damage to the underground cable connections. Okay, so wreck buoys are normally used to prohibit the ships to enter certain area. Now, buoys for special indications. For any other purpose also, you can use the buoys. Okay, they can be of different shapes, different sizes. Okay. Now let us see how the mooring buoy will be. This is a mooring buoy. So it can be something like a rectangle shape, or it can be something like a balloon shape. Okay. But now you see this buoy will be floating in the water, but it is connected to a strong base on the seabed here by means of a chain or cable. Okay, this is a concrete block which is on the seabed, and this buoy is connected to this base, so that it will not float away from the point where it is expected to stand. Okay, so the shape can be different types. Now you see, this is one kind of a mooring buoy. So below this, it is held to a concrete block which is placed on the seabed firmly. Okay, so it will be on this place. And whenever a ship comes near to this, whenever a ship wants to move, then you see here there is a hook. So with a cable, the ship will be connected to this hook, so that the ship will be moved here. There should be a small ship, not very big ships, because the mooring buoys cannot handle very large ships. If it is a small vessel or if it is a smaller ship, they can handle. So those small vessels or small ships, they will get tied to this mooring buoy, and then they will be in their place. You see, this is the mechanism actually. You can see this picture. See, this is something like a balloon which is floating on the water. Okay, this is a mooring buoy. Why it has a? You can see it has a chain with a hook at the end, for which any ship can get attached by means of cables which are called bridles. Okay, and now you see this mooring buoy is firmly held here. So here there is some other mechanism, or some kind of anchor-like thing is pushed inside the seabed, and with this anchor, the mooring buoy is connected by means of a chain, so that it cannot move very far. Hardly it can move only a few meters here and there. So the ship will get connected to this mooring buoy like this. So that is the purpose of a mooring buoy. I hope all of you are able to see the picture and understand. Now, do you understand what is a mooring buoy? Anybody?
Sir.
Are you there? Am I online?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. Now, anybody is having any doubt? What is a mooring buoy? Mooring means a ship coming and standing somewhere in the harbor. Many times I told you it is similar to betting, getting placed at a point. So how a ship can, it need not have something like an anchor as the big ships have inside the seas. Directly through some cable, it can be fixed to what is called a floating buoy, which is called a mooring buoy, because we are using this buoy for the purpose of mooring. But this buoy also is tied up with a strong base on the seabed. I hope all of you understand the philosophy, right? If there are no doubts, I will move on to the next slide. Normally the shape of a wreck buoy. That means this is the shape of the buoy which is used to indicate the hazard zones. You see, of course, this is slightly different. Actually, there is no rule that the shape should be like this only. There is no specific guidelines. That's why I told the buoys can be of different size and different sizes. Now you see here, this is a wreck buoy. Why it is a wreck buoy? What it is stating here, it is stating that danger prohibited area. That means ships are not supposed to enter this area. Why? You can see some ship is already, it sank into the sea. There is a shipwreck here. I think all of you are able to see this. Okay,
Yes,
there is a wreckage. That's why other ships are not permitted to enter this some area. So you can see, if you are able to see on the far away, there is another such sign here, indicator, right? So some
yes,
area, the entire area where the wreck has taken place is to be covered with these types of wreck buoys to avoid the ships entering the seas where there is a shipwreck, right? Now, special buoys. What are special buoys? They can be used for many purposes. So to indicate, say, way to a jetty, or they can be used for many other purposes, which are not listed. As I told you, they are used to indicate what is the left side and what is the right side of the channel. You see here, starboard hand. That means starboard hand means left side, and here this is port hand. Port hand means right side. So for left side of the approach channel, we use this kind of a buoy, which is conical in shape. For right side of the channel, you see we use a different shaped buoy. It is called a can shape. It is something like a can, right? So we use different shaped buoys to indicate what is the right side, what is the left side of the channel. So all these are called special buoys. You see now, I have shown you. Now here there is a row of buoys placed continuously. Actually, they indicate one edge of the approach channel, or they may indicate some enclosed area for some specific purpose. Now you see here, different shaped buoys are available here. All of these are floating types. These can be mooring buoys also. Okay. You see here, one kind of a buoy which is used for some purpose. Okay. Special types of buoys. So this is a mooring buoy. We have seen a diagram of for this kind of thing. Now this is you see, this is a floating lighthouse, which is of a different type. Now we can also use sound signals. Sometimes, very rarely, when the visibility is totally lost, then the only other way of communicating with the ships is through sound signals, through audible signals. We have discussed about the sound signals or audible signals in case of, do you remember where we have discussed audible signals?
Yes, sir. Railways.
Yeah, where we have discussed, in which part? Railways, airways, where we have discussed?
Railways.
Yes, in case of railways, when I told you about the different types of signals, I told that we can also use uh, audible signals with the help of detonators fixed to the rails on the railway track. So whenever a train moves on that, they will explode and they will create an alert, sound alert for the driver. And they are used when the visibility is not there. Similarly, in the ports also, emergency signals to catch immediate attention of the mariners. Mariners means, as I told yesterday, they are the crew of the ship, captains or vice captain, etc. So to catch their attention when the visibility is not there, you may use sirens or bells, which are audible signals, sound signals. They are used especially in foggy or misty weather because the visibility gets affected during foggy and weather. So sirens can be used, or bells can be used, etc. So these are the sound signals. Now I would like to show some photographs. Approach channel indicator. So this is an approach channel indicator. Okay, this is a conical shape. So this indicates one side. Okay. Now I will also show you another picture. You see approach channel indicators. So this is the approach channel, and normally a ship is supposed to be in the center of the approach channel. Normally approach channel also will have a larger depth at the center, but at the edges it will not have that much depth as it has in the center. So small ships can move even at the edges, but bigger ships cannot move at the edges. We can see this ship cannot move here, but a small vessel can move here. Now you see the two edges of this channel are indicated by two buoys. Normally, it is a guideline or a customary thing to indicate one edge of the approach channel with a green colored buoy and the other side of the approach channel with a red colored buoy. You can see here one side is indicated by a red colored buoy, one side is indicated by a green colored buoy. This is a general consideration for general guideline for using the buoys to indicate the approach channel. Okay. Now you can see different kinds of, just I wanted to show you what are the different kinds of buoys that we can use. These are the different kinds of buoys. So you can see different kinds of buoys are available. Okay. Say for example, no wash. These buoys are used, so you should not wash here. Now for example here, you see, sometimes in the harbor you may specify certain place only for swimming purposes, where the ships are not supposed to enter an anchor or enter and berth. You see here, swimming enclosure, do not anchor. That is written here. So you can use a buoy and then you can write on that what you want to convey. You can convey the number. Okay, you can convey what, say 5 knots. What is 5 knots? Knot is what? Anybody knows? KNOT?
Speed, sir.
Anybody knows what is knot? KNOT?
Measurement of speed, sir.
Tying, sir. Tying.
That is a different knot. Okay, when you tie a thread, we say that there is a knot. Okay, there are different types of knots. But here, what is this knot? 5 knots. What is 5 knots? 10 knots?
Speed, sir.
Speed. Yes, you are right. The speed of the ship is measured in units what are known as knots. The ship's speed is measured in terms of knots. Okay, just like you have a speed limit on the road. Let us say you want to put a speed limit on the on certain points in the harbor also. Then you can use the buoys, which indicate what is the permitted speed, 5 knots. So like that, you see that all these are called special purpose buoys. Okay, no access, official vessels only. Another buoy. So for example, there may be some area where you permit only some type of official vehicles and you don't permit other commercial vehicles. What can be official vehicles? The official vehicles can be patrolling vehicles. Okay, police vehicles which are patrolling the coast. We also have what are called coastal guards, right? Coastal guards are nothing but some sort of military force or paramilitary force which are guarding the coast, continuously patrolling the coast. They see that others do not encroach into our territory through ocean. So, coast guards are officials. So, you may permit only official vessels in some area, you may not permit others. So, then you will go for this kind of thing. No access, only for official way. Like that, when we say special purpose, the purpose can be any different types. So, for example, slow down. Here you use one boy, which is you slow down. Like that, you can have any number of boys. Now, you see, this is one thing what I wanted to show you. Now, this is a lighthouse. This is built on a shoal. It is not on the coast. I hope all of you are able to see the picture. I have shown this picture already once. Yeah. Are you there? Am I online?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now you see, this is a lighthouse which is built on a piece of land which is in the sea. Now you see, when the waves come, when there is a tidal wave, you see how they are coming and almost they are engulfing the entire tower. See up to what level the waves have raised. What is the height of the waves? So normally in case of tsunamis or storms, this can happen. That's why the lighthouse must be strong enough. Okay. You see, almost to the top of the lighthouse, the wave has raised. Okay. This lighthouse is in the shoal. Okay. So now this is the last part of our course. I think with this I have completed all the topics in our course. I'm happy that at least this time I could cover the entire syllabus. In the last year I could not cover the last unit, but now I have covered all the topics which are there in your syllabus. And actually with this we are ending our course. So I wish you all the best in your examination, and I thank all of you for listening to my lectures patiently. And if any doubts are there, now you are free to ask me. And I think your exams are also going to start shortly, maybe after 1 week or so. So now I have finished the entire portion with this. No more topics are left in your syllabus. Okay. Any doubts are there for anybody? Yes, no doubts. Yeah, let me tell you one thing. Your mid exams also may start. Okay. I hope I am online. I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not getting any picture on my screen. That's a problem. Okay. So your mids are also going to start. I think maybe by next week or so. So for your first mid, you will have the entire railway engineering. Okay. For your second mid, you will have the remaining units, that is airport engineering as well as the docks and harbors. Okay. So this is what I have to say, and if anybody wants to get anything clarified or anybody wants to say anything, you are welcome. Otherwise, we will call it a day.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, can you share the slides of
Tell me,
classes, sir?
Shushmita. I will share.
Can you
Today
share the
itself,
slides, sir?
I think whatever I have taught already I have shared, and this presentation, what
Yes,
I have
sir.
taught today, this also I will post in the group. I hope all of you might have
Okay, sir.
seen
Thank you,
that
sir.
I have shared all my presentations, whatever lectures I have given so far, I have shared. Only whatever we have discussed today, this particular part is to be shared, that I will post today itself.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
సార్ స్మాల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ సార్
Yeah.
సార్ లైట్ హౌస్ కి ఇందాక మీరు చూపించినట్టు రెడ్ అండ్ వైట్ పెయింటింగ్ వేసారు కదా సార్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్
దానిలో వేయలేదు. Say, that's what I said. The guidelines, what do you mean by guidelines? Guidelines means they are some things which are given to be followed, but there is no rigid rule that you should follow. Okay, they are called guidelines, right? But if you want to give certain things which are to be followed without fail, they are normally termed as specifications. Okay, design specifications. So, for example, if you remember, in case of road signs, we have discussed about what is called a cautionary sign and warning sign. Okay. At that time, I told the design specification for a cautionary sign is it should be an equilateral triangle with a red border, okay, in all the three sides, and within the red border there should be white paint, and whatever message is to be conveyed, that message is to be in black color. That is the specification. I told you that is the design specification. When you say specification, it must be followed. But when you say guideline, it is only a guiding principle. Sometimes you may see something different from the given guideline. Okay. So that is what you have seen. Say the structure of the lighthouse, what I have shown you, is a very old lighthouse structure. But generally, the lighthouses which are built modernly or today, they will follow this guideline of having alternate red and white stripes. But in case of very old lighthouses, you may not find that specification, because as I told you, these ports and harbors have a very long history. Okay. So lighthouses were built even before these guidelines were prepared in some of the places. So there you don't find these red and white markings. For example, if you go to Mahabalipuram near Chennai, in Mahabalipuram also there is a lighthouse. But now Mahabalipuram is not used as a port. But earlier, when it was ruled by Pallavas, earlier kings, Mahabalipuram was considered as one of the major ports. From where ships used to go to many places. Even at that time also there was lighthouse, very old lighthouse. Even now you can see that lighthouse in Mahabalipuram. So that lighthouse was built many years back when these guidelines are prepared, having red and white marks. So obviously you don't find these red and white marks on that. Similarly, whatever White House I have shown you, you might have seen from the structure that it is a very old structure. So that's why you don't find these white and red paints on that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So anything else? If there is nothing, we will call it a day. So with this, I am ending the subject. I wish you all the best in your examinations. As I told you again, you will have first 2 units, that is railway engineering for your first mid, and the remaining 3 units you will have for your second mid, right? And one more thing, I think some of the students who are working under me for a project are also here. I think Yamini is here. Am I Yamini? Are you there? Anybody who is working under me for a BTech project? Nobody is there? Okay, but if anybody is there, you see that you complete your project as early as possible, because immediately it is decided that very soon you will be having examinations, and once your mid examinations are over, you will have end examinations, and after the end examinations you will have the project viva. So hardly maybe within 20 days or so you should be ready with your project report. So that is what I want to convey to all the students, right? Okay, now let us end the class. We can just type our usual practice. So please type your roll number and then we exit the class if there is nothing more to discuss. Okay? Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
చెప్పమ్మా జ్యోత్స్న.
Sir, maximum permissible speed problems railways లో పెట్టగలరా సార్?
ఏమా maximum speed in railway? I'm not able to get.
Maximum permissible speed in railways లో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఇంకొన్ని పెట్టగలరా సార్?
ఇంకొన్ని బుక్లు చూడమ్మా, నేను పెట్టేది ఏమి లేదు, కానీ బుక్ ఉంది కదా, యూ రెఫర్ టు ది బుక్ by railway engineering. You have railway engineering book by Rangwala. You have railway engineering book by Saxena. You refer to those books. You have a number of problems. If you have any doubt on any problem, then you can always contact me, and I will explain you how that particular problem is solved. Okay, there are many solved problems in your textbook.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Because now again I cannot scan and then keep for you, because I have already explained what are the different methods, and I have taken different examples also. So mostly all of the problems will fall into that. Okay, how to use the negative cant, how to use the cant say deficiency, whenever some line branches out from another line. Okay, how to work out the speed on branch line. if you know the speed on the main line, or how to work out the speed on the main line if you know the speed on the branch line. They have done all these kinds of problems. So you refer to the textbook, and then if you have any doubts, you can always get back. I will try to solve your doubts.
Okay, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Right.